All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're cracking open a really dense symbolic text. I mean, this thing reads like a modern day parable about a massive transformation, a journey deep into a world of heresy, and believe it or not, self discovery. It's definitely a challenging piece, but it maps out a pretty profound and honestly unsettling metamorphosis. So let's get into it. Right off the bat, the text just drops us into this subterranean world, and the tone is just ancient, mysterious. It's dark, it's visceral. And that image of a witch's wand that's literally become part of the cave's rib, that sets the stage perfectly. We're not just in some random place, we're inside a kind of living anatomy. And the secrets here, they're written in bone. So our journey kicks off, as so many do, with a discovery. But these aren't just any old artifacts. No, these are the inheritance of exiles. The ones who came before, the ones who first mapped out the heresy of this place. These relics are the actual tools of a forgotten, and you get the feeling, a forbidden kind of power. Now, the text shows us two instruments of power that are total opposites, but also weirdly complementary. You've got the wand, on one hand. It's petrified wood, described as a cruel, frozen lightning bolt. It represents an ancient witchcraft that really pushed back against conventional morality. And on the other hand, you have the staff. It's jagged, unholy iron that just radiates this worldly wisdom from the deep. They're like two sides of the exact same heretical coin. The source calls these artifacts the atavistic bones of predecessors, and this word, atavistic, is absolutely key to the whole thing. See, this journey isn't about inventing something new. It's about reverting, going back to something ancient and primal. A kind of knowledge that was buried, probably on purpose. This is a return to the source. And this is where it gets really interesting. This slide shows the internal awakening that happens next. This isn't some logical, thought-out decision. It's a deep, primal instinct, symbolized by this tarantula that just recognizes these relics. It feels this profound connection and claims them as anchors, basically the essential tools for a new sovereign life, totally free from the old rules. Okay, so you found the tools. Let's move on to the next stage of this initiation. Now the protagonist has to learn to read the wisdom of this place. And that wisdom isn't in some old dusty book. Nope, it's written in, get this, necrotic light on the very walls of the body itself. Wow. I mean, what a powerful way to reframe things. The internal biological world, the intestinal walls, this labyrinth of flesh, it's not a cage holding you back. The source says it's the exact opposite. It's a birth canal. It's a place of becoming, where a new species is literally formed from the ruins of your old self. So what are these murals actually teaching? They reveal something the text calls a gay science of the gut. Now, this is a joyful, life-affirming knowledge, but its joy comes from a pretty dark place. It shows the Untergang, which is German for downfall or sinking, of the righteous. It actually celebrates the harvesting of narrow souls as a natural, almost necessary predatory process. So, here's the crucial point. This whole journey, everything we've seen, it's all leading towards a synthesis. It's about combining the self with this newfound ancestral power, the relics on the outside and the wisdom on the inside. But it's way more than a new perspective. The text calls it a binding contract with the permanent night. It's an irreversible commitment. There's no going back. Now, armed with these relics and this deep internal revelation, the protagonist doesn't just, change their mind. They go through a profound and total shift in their actual identity. They finally accept who and what they're becoming. The Inferno staff is described as a vademecum of flame. That's a fancy word, right? It basically just means it's a guide, like a handbook that you keep with you at all times for reference. And its whole purpose? To teach its owner how to overcome the spirit of gravity. All those things that weigh us down like guilt and piety, through just sheer hardness and resolve. And check this out. The text literally lays out the core beliefs of this new self-concept. And it's a complete flip of conventional morality. They're not fallen, they're heirs. They're not evil, they're disguised devils who are reclaiming a lost authority. They're undismayed, totally unafraid and unashamed, and they have wide souls, which is a direct contrast to the narrow souls they now see as their prey. And you gotta understand, this acceptance isn't just a passive thing. It's an active, ongoing process. It's an act of will, a hardening of resolve. By embracing these relics of the void, they're proving that their synthesis is the final grade, the absolute peak of this dark and intricate design.
So once you've hardened your resolve like that, this hardened resolve naturally leads to the next logical step, a complete and total rejection of the world they left behind. I mean, if you want to build a new temple, you got to clear the old ground first, right?
This slide just illustrates the central conflict perfectly. The surface world, with its markets, its social rules, its holy morality, is completely reframed as a shallow, parasitic growth. The true reality, according to this text, is what's underneath it all: biological, primal, a predatory truth that lives in a palace made of bone. So, you see, this isn't seen as some retreat into darkness. It's a reclamation project. It's a surgical and totally unrepentant act of sloughing off the holy, like shedding dead skin, to reclaim their true biological kingdom. They're not moving like outcasts. They're moving like lords, returning to their rightful home. So, having rejected all of those super-terrestrial hopes from the surface world, the focus turns inward one more time. The body is no longer just a labyrinth or a birth canal. Now it's elevated to the highest possible status. It becomes a glorious and sacred temple. And the source material is absolutely crystal clear on this. True, worldly wisdom doesn't come from praying to the heavens. It's found in the visceral reality of your body's own dark organs. The gut, the gall, the spleen. These are the new holy texts. The answers are within you. And I mean that quite literally. And here we are, full circle. The tarantula, that internal primal self we met way back at the beginning, is now fully realized. It's hailed as a preacher, an overman, a king of the marrow. It is the ultimate authority within this newly sacred temple of the flesh. The instinct has become a god. And all of this, it leads us to the parable's final triumphant and, frankly, terrifying declaration. The transformation is complete. The purpose has been made crystal clear. Now the real work begins. The journey's ultimate purpose is finally revealed. This was never just about personal growth. This was about starting a new era. The relics are the seeds of a dark age, and their function is to be the tools for a harvest, a culling of the entire world that was left behind. The prologue of the surface is just erased. The text presents this as a final, simple sequence of events. The protagonist fully accepts the authority of these primal forces, the wand, the staff, the very stone of the cave, and then, with zero hesitation, begins their terrible transformative work. And that's where our explainer ends, leaving us with this final, powerful image. A new history is being written. But the author is an instinct, the page is the body, and the ink is the very essence of this dark, visceral reality. The text doesn't tell us what the story actually says, only that the Dark Age has gloriously begun to write itself. And it kind of leaves us to ask, if we were to write our own story from the wisdom of our own gut, what would it say?